Well, there's a number of factors driving it. Obviously, the revenues reflect an increase in the cost base. As everybody has witnessed over the past 2 years, inflation has had a big impact on all costs. For the airline industry, the biggest impact has been on fuel costs. But the underlying demand for travel remains very strong. And I think the general economic environment, although it's probably weak in some parts of the world, is still conducive to strong demand for aviation.
Would you say that demand is completely back now to pre-pandemic levels?
In most parts of the world, it is. It's still lagging behind in the Asia-Pacific region, and that's principally China for international travel, which is at about 80% of where we were in 2019. But the rest of the world is effectively back to where they were in 2019, or indeed in some cases actually ahead of where they were in 2019.
And you hear it from the individual airlines. Many of them are sounding upbeat, record profits over the course of the summer. And yet, that being said, the industry has faced several headwinds this year. We talk about industrial action, we talk about air traffic failures. To what extent will those issues also cast a shadow over 2024?
I think some of the events that we witnessed in 2023 should be one-off, and we're more optimistic about the general operating environment in 2024. 2023 was actually a much better year than 22. So we are seeing improving situations in most parts of the world. Still some concerns about air traffic control, staffing levels, and that's predominantly in the United States, east coast of the US. But in the main, I think a lot of the issues that have challenged the industry in 2022 were resolved in 23, and we're expecting a better year in 24.
How are you thinking about the recent flaring up of the geopolitics, the war that is raging within Israel and Hamas right now? To what extent is that going to also serve as a dampener to the projected profile and demand going forwards?
So we would always factor in these geopolitical issues. We've just released our October traffic statistics, and in fact, carriers in the Middle East do not appear to have, at an aggregate level, seen much impact from the war there. The traffic for October was 6.6% ahead of where they were in 2019. And we saw strong growth in most of the major route networks, particularly Middle East to North America. So it's certainly one of those risks that could have an impact in 2024. But based on the figures that we've seen so far, it's not having a material impact on the industry. Obviously, it's impacting significantly on some of the individual airlines in that region, but overall demand has remained quite strong.